Hey, welcome back. I'm Sean Barr, and at Looking Point, we help IT organizations make decisions around collaboration, security, and networking. Today, we're going to be talking about security, zero trust. What is it? What it's not? Let's go. All right, we're back, and let's talk about zero trust. And before we get into it, I know we put a little thing. Is it a scam? No, it's not a scam. It's a framework. So let's talk about what it is, what it isn't, and how you can take advantage of the thought process and the framework. Okay, let's talk about zero trust. So what is it? Well, it essentially says give the person that's connecting or device the least amount of privilege possible as they connect to the infrastructure. And also, what that does is it removes all the perimeters and essentially puts a perimeter closer to the endpoint or the device, meaning that whether you're in the office or you're remote, you're going to provide that user or device the least amount of privilege in the environment. So let's talk about the most common use case in today's world, which is the remote worker, someone that's not in the office, that they're working from home, they're working from a coffee shop, doesn't really matter, but they're coming in remote. There's a number of ways that they can connect into the environment. The most common way that people provide access into their environment is VPN. Now, with today's technologies, more of those devices or the termination device is getting moved to the cloud. So that firewall in the cloud or that device in the cloud is where the endpoint terminates their VPN session. So when they connect in with a VPN, they get authenticated to that VPN, they get the permissions of the network through that VPN or that firewall device, and then as they connect to other applications within the organization or even maybe third-party applications, they're authenticated, validated through the firewall. So that is a user connecting remote. Now, when we get into a centralized firewall or any type of centralized device, a lot of today's technology leverages HTTPS, which is web browsing. HTTPS is encrypted, and that channel is encrypted from the endpoint all the way to the application. And so if organizations want to have visibility into what's happening at an HTTP layer, like what type of information is transferring through this HTTPS tunnel, how do I evaluate it? There are some technologies that actually look at the encrypted traffic, can match signatures and go, this type of traffic is most likely streaming, or this looks like, it's Salesforce type application traffic. But it's looking at the signature of the packet sizes, the cadence that they move in, that type of thing. The second way to look at HTTPS traffic would be to actually decrypt the traffic and having a certificate that terminates on the firewall. It decrypts the traffic. They actually are able to see the traffic. They re-encrypt it and send it on its way. That's another way. The third way would be a proxy server. So that's where the HTTPS traffic is terminating on an application server. That application server is making a connection on behalf of that end user to the actual application. Now there's various discussions about which one is the best one, why would you use one over another, and maybe that's another video and we could cover that later. So that's the remote user, the way that they connect, and the concept around how some of that securing could happen. Now, as we move into the office, let's say you take your laptop or your device into the office, there's a concept of micro-segmentation. And micro-segmentation, it may be in play because just the sheer nature of you being a remote user, VPNing in, micro-segmentation traditionally kind of happens. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to. I mean, you may be able to have connections to other VPN users. However, in most cases, if you're VPNing in, you're automatically in the micro-segmentation type architecture. But when you go into the office and you plug into a switch, traditionally switches switch. And so if you're on a subnet that has connectivity to other IP addresses within that subnet, that traditionally has been unfirewalled or unfiltered. In a zero trust model, you would move to something like a micro-segmentation model. So that would mean that if I connect into the LAN network, I wouldn't be able to communicate with the adjacent desktop or machine that's in my organization on the same network, because the zero trust model would say you wouldn't allow that traffic unless you needed it. And the reason why is if I bring my laptop in from home and I've been all around the world, maybe I picked up some malware, maybe I don't have endpoint protection, all of those things. When I plug into the network, I could do a posture assessment. I could evaluate that user. I could isolate that user if they don't meet the policy requirements. And if they did actually get onto the network, they don't have the permission to talk to an adjacent machine, they would not have the ability to do that. That would be what micro-segmentation would do. So it won't allow the PC on the same network or the two computers on the same network to talk to each other, because that's the policy that's driving it. So again, to kind of put a bow on this whole thing, there's a lot of concepts, a lot of products that go into delivering the framework, which is zero trust. It's not one particular product, it's how those products work together in an architecture type play. If I said anything in this video that you're like, hey, want to know more about that, leave a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe so you get all of our content as we release it. And it's good to be doing a video again. I'll see you on the next one.